Hey explorers, let's talk about aerodynamics and how to make things fly. Plus, we're gonna make a tumblewing glider to see it all in motion. Aerodynamics is the way that things move through the air, often looking at how smoothly they interact with the airflow. While aerodynamics is important for a lot of things, it's very important for vehicles. To make a vehicle, a plane, a train, or an automobile, for example, move, we need to put energy into moving it. And it wouldn't be great if we had to put extra energy into moving it because it wasn't aerodynamic. Like if you had a square block and you were trying to move it directly into the wind, the block wouldn't let air flow around it very easily, meaning it's not aerodynamic. This means it's experiencing something called drag, which is kind of like the air is pushing back on it as the block tries to move forward. This means we need to put extra energy into every motion that that block makes. But if this block were more rounded, like a sphere, then the air could move more easily around it. Even better, we could flatten it out a little, add a few more grooves and edges, and then we can turn it into kind of a sports car for a very interesting effect. Most sports cars are very aerodynamic on the bottom and not on the top. Because the aerodynamics aren't even, the airflow creates a pressure on the top of the car, pushing it downward, giving it greater adherence to the road. Now, the opposite is true for airplanes. Unlike a car, an airplane's wing is designed to have lower pressure on top than it is from underneath. The design of the wing pushes air down and creates drag on the lower part of the wing, whereas the top of the wing easily lets air glide around it. This means that there's more air pressure underneath the wing and it pushes the wing upwards. And that is called lift. In order to see aerodynamics in motion, we can create a quick item in just a couple minutes, and then we can see how we can use air pressure and flow to observe flight. Tumblewings are a type of glider that alternate between flying and stalling, which is why they have a slower descent and just a little bit of lift. A common form of tumblewing is confetti, which uses its tumbling motion to seem more exciting. To create a tumblewing glider at home, you'll need scissors, paper, and to head over to explorationstation.net to download our Tumblewing Glider template. The page you need with the Tumblewing Glider template and all of the instructions you need to complete this experiment is linked in the video description. Step 1 in creating your Tumblewing Glider is to head over to the website to download our Tumblewing Glider template. You can print the Tumblewing Glider on regular paper, which I find works really great, but I've also printed it on a slightly thicker cardstock so I can see if that works better. Then, step 2 is to cut it out. Remember to be very careful or get help from a friend who can use scissors safely. Each glider template comes with 2 individual gliders that you can cut out. All you need to do is cut out the thick black outlining the glider. Next, we need to start folding our glider. Instructions on how to fold it are actually printed right on the glider template itself, and I like to start with the outside edges. If you think of your table like a square, the outside edges would be those straight vertical. They need to be at a 90-degree angle in order to make your glider go straight. Just want to be very careful, just folding right along that dotted line so it sits vertical. All right, and our next one. There we go, we've got our edges. So now we can move on to the front and the back flaps. You'll see that one is folded up and the other one is folded down. You'll see that the dotted line isn't straight. So what I like to do is put my thumbs at the creases where that's gonna fold, and then you just use your other fingers to fold upward. Then you can crease along that dotted line and you're good. You've got your fold. And then same thing on the other side, thumbs at the point where the line changes direction, and then using our other fingers to fold it down and creasing along that dotted line. So now we've got our flaps at 90 degrees, the front is folded down, and the back is folded up. The next step is to pick up your glider from that back edge, that one that's folded up. Then you're just gonna hold it up in the air and drop it. And it tumbles away. Woo! An easy way to take this to the next step is to turn your tumblewing glider into a walking tumblewing glider, which means finding a big flat piece of cardboard. And all you need to do is hold it at a 30-degree angle between you and the ground, and you're gonna push it underneath the tumblewing as it tumbles through the air. This can actually keep your tumblewing suspended because you are creating an artificial draft using that cardboard in order to keep it in the air. Remember not to throw your glider in the air. You want to hold it perfectly level and make sure that these flaps are folded at a perfect 90 degrees. If your glider isn't going straight, those are the reason why, and they just need to be bent back into shape. Now that glider is working quite well, so now I want to see if my Tumblewing Glider that's printed on slightly heavier cardstock does any better. So I'm going to cut this out. So now all I need to do is fold it once again. It's definitely a little trickier to fold the cardstock because it is much thicker, but I'm hoping that means it's going to react a little bit better to the airflow. So now let's see.
Science! Fails.
We're getting a couple little tumbles out of our glider, but it's mostly just falling through the air, not stalling as much as we'd like it to, which means this experiment would work better with lighter forms of paper. So what I would advise is taking one of your templates, taping it to some newspaper and cutting it out. Then you can use the lightest paper we've got in order to make your Tumblewing Glider, and that should work really, really well. As with most experiments, I love doing a couple different versions, trying out something different so I can find out what observations can be made along the way. There's always something new to learn. Sure, they don't always work out, but that's why experimenting is important. For more observations about the world around us, subscribe to Clayton's Exploration Station on YouTube and social media. Plus, you can head over to explorationstation.net for the Tumblewing Glider template, worksheets, and other resources. Now go get tumbling and you stay curious out there, explorers.
Clayton's Exploration Station.